Hey friends, I'm Scott Hanselman, and I've spent some time configuring my Windows terminal. I've set up the shells that I like. I've set Windows terminal up the way that I want it. But one of the things that I like to do in a fresh machine is I like to set up a nice prompt. So what I'm doing is I've set up a thing called Oh My Posh. Oh My Posh. You can check it out at ohmyposh.dev. And it's not a shell, it's actually a prompt. So it's the thing that is printing this text out for me each time I press enter. You may be familiar with the prompt from things like DOS or the command prompt in Windows. The prompt is this thing over here in the corner that puts that C colon and then a greater than sign. Or if I open up something like Bash or on Ubuntu, it'll usually be a $sign. Or if I bring up Windows PowerShell, it'll be something like this, a PS or a $sign in Ubuntu. What I like is a totally customizable prompt. So I've added a couple of things here, and I'm actually going to show you a few tricks. I've also got autocomplete in PowerShell, and I've got all the details on this on my blog. If you go and Google for Hanselman Ultimate Prompt, I've got a whole blog post about this. Notice how when I start typing, I get autocomplete. I'm going to use this thing called Z, which is like change directory, but it has a history. And I want to switch over to a folder with some code in it. Now notice that when I show up there, suddenly my prompt looks different. I've got the current directory location. This is my blood sugar in real time. I just had breakfast, so we're going to see that blood sugar go up over the course of the video. We see the first branch that I'm on, the main branch of my GitHub project, and then I actually see my version of .NET that I'm currently using. And then at the end here, this picture of a heart, that's actually the status of my machine if I've just had an error or not. So if I type something and press enter, you see that that is an error, and then that heart turns red, which is kind of cool. If I switch to a different folder, you see I see different things. There might be different versions of .NET, could be a version of Node or Go or Rust or whatever makes you happy. You can lay this out any way you want to, so let's see how we do it. I'm going to type code $profile, which is going to open up what this profile looks like in PowerShell. And in the top here on line 16, we see OhMyPosh, which I installed with winget. But again, if you just go to ohmyposh.dev, you can learn how to do that. I'm indicating that I'm using the PowerShell shell, and then the configuration for that exists entirely in this file right here. I keep that file in my OneDrive so that I can automatically bring that to other machines, and it makes setting things up really cleanly. So I'm going to just copy that into the clipboard, then I'm going to go open, and I'm going to open that here inside of Visual Studio Code. What this is a OhMyPosh configuration file that indicates individual segments. So let's take a look at this. We're going to take the terminal, we're going to put that off to the left, we're going to put Visual Studio Code off to the right. I'm going to adjust our font sizes a little bit here, and I'll switch over to a, there we go, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, there we go. I want to make sure that our entire prompt fits. So notice our first prompt here is pink, and it shows the current directory. Okay, that's this segment here. That is a folder style segment. Okay, then the next one shows my blood sugar. You notice that it's green. It has a little picture of a needle there because I'm a diabetic. And then you can see my blood sugar with an arrow. That is called Night Scout, and that is a custom type inside of OhMyPosh. There's all kinds of great segments in OhMyPosh. You can have a current version of Azure, what your AWS subscription is. You can have your blood sugar. You can have the temperature. You can have the weather, whatever makes you happy. It's super cool. The next one we see is actually of type Git, and that's the thing that is showing the head, the version of the branch, and you can see the colors are set as well. And because those colors are easily editable, inside of Visual Studio Code, I can pick the color editor right there. And then I added for myself a .NET segment. That is actually calling .NET-info or .NET-version and getting that version and then laying it out for me automatically. So it's a little long on mine because I have a preview version of .NET. You can go and add different ones of these. You can add ones for Node or whatever. So if I go over here and I say, ohmyposh.dev, and I click on Docs, on the left-hand side here, you see where it says Segments. Look at this. The battery and execution time, whatever you want, you can lay your segments out the way that you want and make it your own special. This is just one example of what you can do to make your prompt clean and fun in your own space. This is using Oh My Posh. I showed it in PowerShell on Windows, but of course it works on anywhere. It works on ZSH and Bash, works on Mac, works on Windows. It's cross-platform, it's written in Go. It's run, the great project, open source project run by a lovely gentleman named Jan de Davalier. And I hope that you stick around and learn lots more stuff from me on this YouTube channel on how to set up your terminal, set up your prompt, make your space ready for you to be the best developer that you can be. Thanks so much.